I'm now going to show you how to, as a user, create your own unique and bespoke areas and networks of interest. And by area of interest, what we mean is a shape, basically. So you can draw a circle or whatever shape that you want, and you can then use that area in a filter, or you can share that with other users as well. So really what we're hoping that people do is, with really unique understanding of the areas that they're working in, they understand what areas they either need to protect or areas that they're interested in, and they'll draw an area around there and then create filters and then alerts based upon that area. So this is a really, really powerful tool within the system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to create an area of interest. The way you can get to this screen is simply by central register. You can click on the filter tab and go to manage filters, or even from the home page you can click on the filter and alert management screen. Once you're at this page, it's very easy to create a new area of interest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an area of interest. So I'm going to click create new AOI, and I'm going to call it my test. I'm going to call this my test area, and then I use either of these two buttons at the top. The first button is point to point. So what it lets me do is click once, twice, and what it will do is just keep making new polygons, or new lines at least, when I click. Now if I double click, it's going to close the polygon. So now I've got an area that I've defined, and I can save that. If that's not quite how I want it to be, I can use a second feature. And what that just lets me do is hold the left click button down and then drag the mouse. And as I drag the mouse, it's just going to follow the mouse and draw an area based upon where my mouse pointer is. The second I let go, it's going to close the polygon. So now I've got an area defined. So if I create this record, it says it's saved successfully. And this is the one that I've saved just now. So it's the test FAQ one. I can view that, and you can see the area. Really simply, I can also see other areas that have been created as well. So these are areas that I've either created myself or people have shared with me. And the sharing feature works exactly the same way as it did in the filter and alert section. You simply put the email address in here, click add, and then share. You can also do something very similar with a network of interest. The difference between an area of interest and a network of interest is that where an area of interest is literally an area and it will pull everything under that area as a record to give you information on, a network of interest works by USRNs, or unique street reference numbers. So what we've done on this side of the map is we've split everything up by road network. So everything that's red is the TLRN, we've got the SRN here, and the BRN are the pink roads. So if I zoom into an area, and say for this particular example I am interested in the river crossings in between Westminster and Lambeth. So I'm going to create a new record. So right now you leave the USRNs blank. Anyone who has used the old system will know that you needed to basically copy and paste USRN lists in here with a comma format so that it would be able to pick up a full area for you. What we've done now is use the same features from the AOI section, i.e. these click points or the drag and draw method, to be able to really quickly and easily define your networks of interest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and create an area that I'm interested in here. Now what it's going to do is it's going to look at the area that I've defined, and any USRN that falls underneath that area that I drew, it's going to pull it up and put it in the USRN list. So if I wanted to add to that, I would just use the feature again. I'm going to use a different one this time, just the drag and draw. And I'm going to draw around the next two bridges. And what it's done is highlighted all of that area as well. Say during that particular exercise I'd made a mistake. So say down here, I'm not interested in this particular USRN. I can click on that USRN and I can remove it from the list. So now that's been removed. Similarly, if there was a road that I did miss that I was interested in, So I can go to Chelsea Bridge. And add the USRN. So what this does is really simply and easily allows you to create very complicated areas of interest in much faster fashion than has been done in the past. I very easily create the record, and once it's created, it will give me the feedback in the bottom right-hand corner. These do take a little bit longer to load because there's a lot of information underneath there, but it's successfully saved the record. And in the same fashion as areas of interest, I can view other networks of interest I've created in the past also. And that's the one I've just created for this example. So this also has the same share feature that you've seen in the past. The edit tool is one of the buttons here. So if you just hover over any of these buttons, it will give you the information you need. If there's any action that you can't undertake, it will be grayed out. So this button here is our clone feature, and this is our unlink feature. Now, to clone, you would have to have another user share an area, a network, or a filter with you. Once that's been shared, they're the owner of that filter or that area or that network, and as a result, you can't edit any information that they've put into that. If they change it, it gets reflected in your list, but you can't change it for yourself. If you do want to, you can just quickly and easily clone the filter. It will make a copy of the same name, and then that's yours. That is yours to edit and change as you will. To unlink it, that is effectively unsharing it from someone or deselecting. If they've shared it with you and you don't want that on your list anymore, you can unlink it, and that will remove it from your list from there on. An example of that would be after you've cloned something. So once you've cloned it, you will have a duplicate in your list. You would unlink the one that has been shared with you and retain the one that you wanted to keep for your own purposes. The next thing I want to do is show you how you can use these in a filter. So I'm going to create a new filter. So I'm clearing this filter, creating a new one. I am going to select City of London, but now this time I am also going to select a network of interest. So I'll select my networks of interest, and I will go to, sorry, I need to quickly refresh this. So if you have just created a network of interest, you can just hit the refresh button, and since I had Central Register open at the same time, it now will show you the test that I've put in there that I've just created. So I can use that now. I'm only interested in items that are on the TLRN, so that's what I'll put in there. For my when function, I'm just going to get a month worth of data from January 2016 and permit information. That's all I'm interested in today. I can apply the filter, and what you'll see is you should get everything in the City of London, but also you're going to get permits within that area that I had the network of interest defined. So if I zoom into that area, you'll see the roads that I had defined as part of the USRNs on my network of interest now have permits that fall within the date range in that area, and I can select them like I would any other permit.